mold and we sculpt the reality that we live in. When you focus on something enough, the universe bends to your will. Quantum jump creates from a decision that you make that leads you into a different path. You have to trust the process. And this doesn't sound really counterintuitive. To become successful, you have to know not what to do. When someone says to me, John, what is the secret to success? How do I become a millionaire? How do I become financially free? I realize it's the wrong question. John, the right question should be, who do I have to become? And I'm going to say this, I don't think I've ever shared this before.
John Lee, who is an internationally renowned entrepreneur, investor, speaker, and mentor.
He's also been featured in Forbes, Sunday Times, the BBC,
and was awarded Man of the Year in 2017 by Global Women's Magazine.
Generating millions of viewership as well as a community of over 6 million social media followers from all over the world.
There's infinite possibilities that happen simultaneously at the same time. Now, again, what this has got to do with the success in business entrepreneurship is to know that a single thought is an inception to your destiny. Have you ever heard about the double slit experiment?
No.
All right, double slit experiment is this, and this is how it's so powerful.
Hey, and welcome to Big Asian Energy. I'm your friend, John Wang, and if you're new to the show, we talk to Asian changemakers, ceiling breakers, and a few troublemakers who share the secrets of how to break through and reach success. And today, do we have a change maker and a troublemaker? And when I'm saying troublemaker, I mean that in the best way, because today's episode is actually recorded on site. It's the result of a really random chance encounter when I literally ran into today's guest on the street. And after a very deep and powerful conversation, we quickly realized that we got to record this down and share it with the world. So the story is that I was actually in Austin for a conference, and he was just coming out of doing another speaking engagement. And we started talking about what it means to be successful. Now, this is a guy who has done quite a bit to really fit the bill. From being a self-described weird kid and an animator to becoming a global icon in entrepreneurship and public speaking, this is John Lee. I've heard of your work for such a long time, and you have done so much, even in the past few years, in shaping so many people. So I'm just going to start by saying hi, because I think that we need to have, hi, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, John. I appreciate it. It's going to be confusing. I'm going to call you John, you're going to call me John. Yeah. Where's John?
Now, anyone who wants to have Big Asian Energy, you have to legally change your name, John. We all know this. The series back. Thank you for being here on the show and for being who you are. Just to give some context, we usually talk about Asian Americans, but you're British, right?
BBC.
Yeah.
British born Chinese.
Yeah, BDC, British born Chinese. And I remember, if I can remember correctly, you were born to Chinese immigrant parents. So just to start us off at the beginning, what was it like for John growing up in the UK with Chinese immigrant parents?
So basically my nickname was Bruce.
Your name was...
And literally my name, or even worse, that I'd have people walk past me and don't even call me name, they just go, wada.
No.
Because I was the only Chinese kid, my brother, in the school. Everyone else was not Asian.
Yeah.
So it was a very bizarre feeling. At the time, I didn't think of it at the time because I just thought, what, is it just us that's Chinese and Asian?
Yep.
Like, why is no one else here Asian?
Yep.
And because I lived in this town in the middle of nowhere, there wasn't that many Asians around. So it was a very bizarre, weird upbringing, so to speak.
Yeah, I can imagine. So what was it like being, growing up in that environment? Because your story, yours was the ultimate, true immigrant success story, right? What was your experience like on the other side of that?
So unfortunately, when we get brought up, it's your kids, you go to school, get a job, become a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, but I'm not smart enough for that, right? So I became an animator, John, an animator. Yeah. So I worked on games and shows and a lot of special effects. And so, when our parents we go dim sum, and it's, oh, my son's a doctor and my daughter's a lawyer, and what's your son do? Oh, he draws stuff.
What did your parents think of that at the time?
Well, I don't think they even thought about, even now when people ask my parents, what does your son do? They can't articulate it.
Right.
What does he do? I don't know, investing stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So even back then, it's even as an animator, who'd have thought you get paid to do drawings that move? Right? It's just, it's weird. Back then we're talking about, 20, 30 years ago. right? When all this stuff was like all brand, I mean, now it's because everyone knows what it is, but back then it's like, you're Anna what?
Yeah.
Anna what is that? Some kind of like special doctor?
In some ways, yeah, right. In some ways, and animation has come so far these days. Now we have AI. You can just type in a few sentences and poof, it comes out, right?
Yeah.
So impressive. Speaking of AI, this. I'm jumping way ahead here. You're in deep with AI, right? I think that I can now call you and talk to an AI version of you on the phone. Is that right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about what's that and what you're working on there.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I mean, how many of us have conversations all the time, especially if you're in business, right? We're always asking the same questions.
Yeah.
If you have staff, they're always asking the same questions. For me, I have clients that ask me the same questions. So instead of me having to repeat myself, the 80-20 rule, 80% is the same, 20% is very different. So I just take 80% of that and say, hey, for example, a lot of people ask me, John, I want to be able to present on stage with confidence. Like, can you show me how to do it? I said, well, I don't have time. Just basically speak to my AI and I'll tell you how to do it. I mean, it's going to say the same thing anyway.
Yeah.
Right? Whether I'm live or not. Because here's the thing. If I take a piece of paper, I grab a piece of paper around here.
Yeah.
Right? This piece of paper is worth what? 1 cent.
Yeah.
But if I write the winning lottery numbers on that paper, how much is it worth?
Like millions.
Millions. So the difference is not whether the paper, it's not whether it's the AI, it's the content that's written on it, i.e. people are going to be extracting from my artificial intelligence.
I'm just thinking it's the future and everyone has access to John on their phone, and what a world that's going to become. You were talking about a question that I feel like probably so many people, including our audience, probably have that. You're one of the greatest speakers in the world. I mean, that's not just me gassing you up, by the way. Like, this is one of those things where I think anyone who watches you on stage will unquestionably see that. You have this energy, you have this very powerful presence. So that's not something I considered to be really common in a lot of Asian people I've met. Was this just something that you were born with as a gift?
No, I was actually, when I was a kid, I had a stutter. So and sometimes it comes out a little bit when I'm trying to speak too fast. But sometimes what I realize is when you're growing up, you get taught by the people around you. And then what I realize is that the bigger your spark is, the bigger your personality becomes. And so when you're on a mission, like if you want to change one life, you have a certain energy. And the work that you're doing, John, you want to change millions of lives and you want to impact more, then it takes certain energy. So you can't be small and play small. You got to be big and everything around you expands. Everything's energy. And we talked about this before, we had this podcast, and it's why synergistically this made so much more sense to be able to just get this and to infuse this message so people can actually learn and also experience it.
100%.
And so for me, I wasn't born with this. It's just something that developed over time through mission. And if I will, a calling. I know that sounds fluffy, right? Well, what is a calling? What's purpose? I did this talk in LA, 13,000 people. And what is the art of manifestation? And I broke it down to two things. Number one is you have to, first of all, have the intention. What is my intention? What I want to do? Even if you don't know the way, the unknown will teach you the way. And the second thing is the applied action, not just action, applied action. Meaning you can go to the gym, you see people lifting weights like this, right? They're trying to get big biceps, but all they ever really get is big back because they're lifting the weights the wrong way. But if I have applied action with intention, then I'm going to cut straight through it. Right? You see the people in the gym. I don't know if you go, you go to, I can tell you go to the gym. So, you see the guys who are really ripped.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And they come in, you can see the vascularity. We just feel like how ripped. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you go, I bet that guy can lift a lot. And when you see them at the gym, they're not lifting a lot at all. They're lifting lighter weights, which you can easily do, but they're doing it in a very controlled manner. And you go, that's why that person's ripped. Of course, there's the diet and things like that as well. But it's a part of technique and it's a part of who you have to be and who you have to become to get that thing.
That's very powerful. So technique is so important. That's the leverage point. That's the pivotal point that makes everything magnified, right? And then there's the purpose behind it, the calling that you say. I think this is particularly interesting. Talking about our history and our cultural backgrounds. You mentioned the doctor, lawyer, engineer thing. I got that exact same talk when I was a kid.
Right.
How did that eventually become you now in pursuit of your calling? How do you find it?
Well, because I wasn't smart enough for I'm dyslexic as well. So I find it very difficult to read and write. In fact, if you look at some of my most viral posts, they have spelling mistakes in them because people are like, oh, you can't even spell. And what they're doing is they're commenting on my posts. It's lifting the algorithm. So it's, it's a happy medium. Yeah. So for me, it's when we talk about repetition, right? It's really stage time. So as I go through that whole thing of you need to become a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, when I look at actually what is it I actually do and how I'm able to pursue that through repetition, through honing a skill, it's really being obsessed with the process. And this sounds really bizarre for most people because even though I wasn't that great at school, I picked the things that I was kind of good at. So you know what I picked? I just picked art, right? Okay, I don't need academics for that. I can draw some stuff, right? So I went to art school and then I eventually got a job as an animator. Right. So as I worked as an animator, even in that process, I was learning about film, I was learning about camera, I was learning about script writing, I was learning about basically all the things I have to use today to scale businesses to multi-million-pound companies. And skills I thought back then I didn't even thought I needed to learn. Presentation skills, right? So I had to get up and again, I wasn't very good at academics or science and geography and English. So I took theater studies, which allowed me to kind of get in my shell a little bit. And so it's interesting because as all these things work in my favor, what I thought back then was useless today has now become paramount.
And that all contributed as well. Theater makes perfect sense, right? You're on stage. And I think that's one of the skills. Don't get me wrong, I've gone through your materials, Wells Dragon, everything like that. You are incredibly knowledgeable and wise, but then we see you on stage and that presence. So in my mind, I'm watching and I'm going, theater makes sense, purpose makes sense. Is there anything else that you've over the years have developed that made that energy?
Yes. So as an animator, I understood form, right? So for example, I used to have to go to the zoo to look at how animals work because one time I got the task of animating a mammoth. Well, how does a mammoth move? I had no idea. So the closest thing to a mammoth is an elephant. So I go to the zoo and I look at the way it's moving its weight. I look at the dynamic. I look at the form. I look at as the paw is pressed down, the skin comes over it. And then I used to, and this is a good one, I used to have to analyze human anatomy. So I'd sit there in coffee and I'd look at women walking because the women and men, they walk differently.
Right.
Like women, they've got more of a swag. So when you're animating, you've got to put more of a rhythm into it. Whereas men, it's kind of like that. If you look at the shoulders, when they walk, it kind of does this, right? So I used to have to analyze human anatomy and to see how humans walk, humans talk, analyzing facial expressions. Again, all things I use today when I'm on stage. If there's 10,000 people on a stage, I can see that person and go, I know what that person is feeling because I can tell from the expression, right? So then it's talk about moving energy and form and putting all these things together that then become a perfect symphony. So when I'm on stage, I'm not just thinking about what I'm saying. I'm reading the audience. I'm reading the lighting. Is the light too bright? Right? How wide is the room? Like in that where you saw me speak, that's a huge venue, really tall ceilings. That means I've got to be extra more energy to fill the space. That's why I was doing intentions behind the stage, right? The place to where the flip charts are positioned, to how the slides are. And if you notice, I was using 4 colors. Why 4 colors, not 1? Because it takes 2 colors to stimulate your brain when you watch me speak, right? So little things like this, managing energy, managing audience, knowing what to say, pausing at the right time for the message to land. Having your passionate like this or passionate like this. And to be able to move the energy with the voice, to be able to, again, articulate. So I went through a lot of vocal training. It's kind of when Steve Jobs, when he created Apple, he had to do calligraphy, which later became the text on the word processor that everyone would use. But he never knew it at the time. So I believe that these skill sets that you start to acquire, not because you had to do it because it was meant for you at the time, but you didn't know why. And now it creates something incredible. And that's how magic is created.
I love that. And that way that you spoke about, you're right, like energy could be loud and dominating. Like this could be what, like very Tony Robbins, hey everyone, we're here, we're going to be in our peak state. Or it could be strong and even, but still powerful. Now that is incredible range, right? Most people, they have one note, right? Let's like a lot of people we meet, they have one note, right? They kind of talk like this all the time. And
Did you have to specifically work to develop that range of that presence and how you show up?
It wasn't something that was, I mean, I was conscious of it. But you know what, everything I do is every time I run a presentation, I'll always record it, right? And why do I record it? Because I want to see, actually, when I'm speaking, I'm not looking at how I'm presenting on stage. I'm looking at where the anchor points are. So for example, if I make a statement and I'm stood at the edge of the stage versus back of the stage, it has a different impact. If I'm on the left-hand side, I'm looking right, but I'm just not looking left, I alienate that side of the audience. So I need to cross the energy, and I need to be, like you mentioned, the sensory acuity needs to be widened. And when you widen your sensory acuity, you see everything at any one time. Have you seen the film Everything Everywhere at Once?
Yes, of course. Love that book.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So
sorry, movie.
Right. So when you look at that, immediately you've got all these things happening simultaneously at the same time. I won't get into quantum mechanics because it might be a little bit too deep. Or we can't go into it.
I'm happy to go wherever you want to go.
Okay. So then we look at multiple timelines.
Yeah.
Right? Multiple realities happening simultaneously. You ever had a deja vu that feels so real that it's not just a normal deja vu. It's like, I've definitely been here before. Like, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Like, that it's not a normal deja vu. And that deja vu expands. And you're in it not just for a split second. Oh, I've seen that before. It's like, are you looking around, you recognize everything, right? It's what we call quantum jumping. Quantum jump creates from a decision that you make that leads you into a different path. Do you know, and my friend Ian taught me this today, I didn't know this. People, when they go on a downward spiral, it's not instantly. It's not like you fall 1,000 feet at a time. You're going at 1 degree. Do you know if you go at 1 degree for 10 miles in either direction, it ends up being the height of a skyscraper?
Right. Yeah.
So the decision that you make right now quantum jumps you to a new reality, or as the event that we've been to called destiny, leads you to where you want to be. Now, why are we talking about this? Because every decision that you make, whether you're in that room, what you choose to do or not do, or what you will do and what people can do, are worlds apart.
Absolutely.
So we have to make sure that we are honing in on the skill sets and the things that we want to do in order to achieve that process, in order to articulate it and understand it, then we can execute it.
This brings in really what I was going to ask next, because you've been doing this work. Essentially, you have been helping people reach incredible successes, make millions, all these things. And I imagine that at this point, you probably look back at your life and you realize that, wow, you probably are realizing something deeper. So there is the usual thing of like, how do you succeed? You got to hustle, you got to have a system, find mentors, do all the things. But my question is, at this state that you're at looking back, what is underneath that? Like, what is the real secret to success, if there is such a thing?
I'm telling you right now, you have to trust the process. And this is going to sound really counterintuitive. To become successful, you have to know not what to do.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. When we're at school, we have to take an exam. So what do? We revise. Right? And I was always the kid who's like, I had to revise every single day just to even get. I remember when I got my grades, like I got a C and I was celebrating. Because in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm getting an E or an F, right? Where my brother can he can just do nothing like night before, straight A's. So when I look at what's actually happening in that space, we're doing the things that we do, but we have to understand everything in order to get the result that we want. Now, you asked me what the secret to success is. It's actually to surrender and to say, you know what? I don't need to know everything. I just need to know enough to be dangerous, right? So let me kind of spell this out for a lot of people. You've heard the concept of entrepreneurship is you jump off a cliff, you build the plane on the way down.
Yeah.
Right? But as you are building the plane on the way down, you're learning to fly the plane. And as you learn to fly the plane, you then have to search for the fuel in order to make it work. These are all things that you only learn when you're falling down. Right? It's not the thing that you learn when you just, I'm going to learn this stuff. You see, it's very counterintuitive. And I've been doing this for 20 plus years. So I've mentored thousands and thousands, millions of people online and offline, and we have thousands of people that attend our in-person events. And I realized that when someone says to me, John, what is the secret to success? How do I become a millionaire? How do I become financially free? I realize it's the wrong question. John, the right question should be, who do I have to become? And I'm going to say this, I don't think I've ever shared this before. The inner world echoes the outer world, right? And this is where AI gets really exciting, because now I can have what we call sentiment analysis. For example, if someone is naturally gifted at talking, if someone is naturally extrovert, this person is going to do better in life. Why? They'll open up more doors.
Sure.
If someone is more introverted, and this is not true, and a lot of people are going to stay on the comments, but what the Bible, I can only see that, right?
Oh, yeah.
I can only see that, right? This is, I'm just
Great for engagement.
I'm just blanket stating here, right? That's not true for all, and when we understand archetypes, we understand that there are some people who have amazing ideas or are visionary, but they don't do anything. And you have people who do stuff all the time, but they're kind of kicking a ball around with no goals. And then we have another type of person who they want to do things all the time, but they want to research everything. So that's what I call sentiment analysis. So now with AI, we can answer a few questions and we know which direction to go. So when you ask me what is the secret to creating success is inner work.
I fully agree with that. What does inner work look like for you?
Inner work is, first of all, getting rid of blocks, right? The first block is people have a financial thermostat, right? They think they're only worth 1 million, 100,000, 10,000.
No blocks.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But think about it. When's the last time, I don't think there's a time that you remember at school where you're like, yeah, I'm going to get a job. Yeah, it's going to pay me $1 billion. Right? We're all set to like this 6-figure mark, right? Or multiple 6 figures and best. And then when you're, finally in your 50s and 60s, then maybe you become a director or a CEO and then you'll hit that 1 million. No. That is the first block you have to remove. That's number one. Number two is, and I see this so much. People have a business, but they don't want to sell the thing to the customer that they have. Right? For example, they'll knock on the door and they'll be like, hey, I've got this thing. And look, you don't want to buy this thing?
Oh, gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
They sit in a block. And the other block is subconscious for self-sabotage. This is why inner work is so undervalued. Like, no one talks about it.
Nobody talks about
No one talks about it.
Yeah.
Like, you heard me talk about this on stage, right?
Yep.
Mind, body, spirit.
Yeah.
Mine is want to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
My body is I don't want to do any work.
Yeah.
Your spirit is rich people are douchebags. So you're so misaligned. That's why no matter what you do, it doesn't work.
100%. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, 100%. And I really am so feeling validated because I have this book, I share it to you with Big Asian Energy. And the first section is all about the inner work I would love to hear your thoughts around this because it's very exciting. For me, I've always felt like that really is like most 99% of people you meet are living vastly under the potential. Ironically, because they keep holding this perfectionist view around their potential. Like I have to be perfect around everything that I do, especially putting it out there because it's so scary.
Especially the Asians as well.
Especially for Asians. Did you ever experience this?
Of course. Or like, I remember my mom had me do this Chinese test. I got like one word wrong. I got, you know what it's like when you...
Yeah.
I know, you know what they call a tester?
I got the back scratch here.
Right? And then there's one time I'm trying to hit with a gun and I snapped it. And
Whoa! Damn!
That's after hiding it all the time. I was like, I'm very sure.
Hey, I just wanted to let you know that Big Asian Energy is officially out and you can go and pick it up anywhere you buy books, Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, etc. If you've ever felt like there's something stopping you from reaching your full potential, if you've ever felt like you want to have that unstoppable charisma and confidence in the work that you do, as well as just the way you show up in life, this might be the book for you. It is a book that is jam-packed with research studies, advice, case studies, stories, and of course, so many different techniques and takeaways, including communication, as well as mindset, as well as confidence, and all the other topics out there. It just won one of the best books of 2025 on Amazon. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go take a look. And finally, if you have a few seconds, can I also ask you to leave a quick review for Big Asian Energy? It not only means the world to us to hear from you, but more importantly, it does absolutely help us in reaching more audiences. I hope you're having an amazing day, and thanks again.
Yeah, 100%. I totally felt that. And the constant comparisons, right? Like, if you bring back, 89%, the first question is always, well, what happened to the other 11%? So and so's kid got, 100%.
Yeah.
So how did you overcome those inner blocks, especially given that the work you do is so public, which can be so difficult for people who don't feel comfortable inside?
So I don't know. I've always been a little bit weird. Like, if you speak to my friends, they're like, he doesn't think, it's like, people, they call me an alien. He just doesn't think, like, I could talk to you about one thing and suddenly switch to something else. And completely, like my wife says it one time, so that was random. Because in my mind, I'm running through things 1,000 miles an hour. And so for me, it's like kind of learning that process and actually understanding this works, this doesn't work. And honestly, John, a lot of it is through trial and error. Like, I don't know what's going to work until I know it's going to work.
Right.
This is why, again, when we look at school, how we've been conditioned is you got to get everything right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you got Asian pressure on top of that. It's like, I better get something right or I'm going to get smacked.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not always true for all the case. I mean, now, I have this joke and I was watching this Russell Vicker's one and he's and then he talks about, hey, like, if you hit me, I'll call child support. That's what it is now, right? You can't do that. Anything else. Like our generation.
Yeah.
Right. So it is through a lot of trial and error. One of the biggest secrets to success is to fail fast. You have to fail fast because failing tells you what not to do next. Now, some people continue to do the same thing over and over again. But when you figure out what doesn't work and you do more of what doesn't work, success starts to shorten and then the dilution of time shrinks. And then you get there faster. That's why you see people who take a long time to make a lot of money, they'll lose it all. But in a very short space of time, you make it back again.
I love that. Inner work. So one of the things that I've noticed in our kind of like thought leadership industry, whatever you call it these days, right? Like teachers who are people who are sharing their knowledge, their wisdom. There's many of them. Like I've been a self-development junkie since I was a kid, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, all of the classics, right? But even now, looking at what's out there, there's really not many people who look like us. You are one of them, and there's a few other people I could think of, but for the most part, in these rooms, we're often still that one or two. Why do you think that is?
I think it's upbringing. It's we're not really taught to, I say this in Chinese, Asians, and generally speaking, we're kind of like almost emotionally constipated. Like you do something right, and your parents say nothing, you go, do something wrong, you get a slap. Right? So it's like, and then the way they show you love is to feed you more food. Hey, let me cook you something. It is, yeah. Fine. Right? So like, I realized that the more stuff that I experience, the more I go out and say yes to things. So on stage, I was mentioning that everyone has a what we call your energetic signal, right? And this energetic signal can be turned. Right? The frequency can be amplified, but the amplification comes from the action, which is focused action, right? But when I look at, and if you spell the word your energetic signal, it spells YES, yes.
Oh, that's good.
So the more we say yes to things, the higher our amplification becomes, and the more we attract. You see, you speak to a lot of people who are successfully saying you got to say no to stuff, right? I'm not saying say yes to everything, but it has to be, again, intentional. The yes goes to the intention. It's like, for example, I flew to Colombia, right? And I didn't want to go there. I'm like, I don't want to go there. I'm not even speaking there. My friend had this event on. I'm like, I don't want to go. But my mind, I don't want to go. But my body has been called to go. And when I went there, I met a very good friend, another Asian, right? His name's Ken Honda, incredible human being. And we had an incredible connection. That's actually how I got my book deal with Hay House.
Oh, wow.
Through him.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when does the book come out?
It will be out soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're gonna make sure to shout it out. Yeah. Okay. Look, he's gonna do it.
So, but I had a calling to go there, right? And through that, I met another guy, and all these connections are somehow linked through. I don't know if you believe in string theory,
100%.
that we are all attached somehow.
Yeah.
And it's funny because your sister, I met her. It's funny because that was going back almost more than a decade ago.
Wow.
I met her in Chicago, became friends. We started talking, and I met Ray, who's incredible. And then we had a connection and just came over. We had some incredible strategies, and now we're talking about strategies of her teaching me how to take my daughter into some, these idol leagues, right?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. And then I meet you, but at that same party, another person was at that party where your sister was as well. So it's kind of like all these threads are linked. I just worked with this guy for years. He came up to me, he said, John, I want to thank you so much for your time. I said, why? Because back then I didn't know what I was doing. And he had to go up and give a presentation. I said, look, relax, let me teach you how to do this. And he was so thankful. This guy's become super successful now, right? But the key is that everything is linked somehow. We have an invisible thread that goes around everyone. And
I really, really believe in this. Like, I fully resonate. Even today, I mean, I should be on a flight right now to give you an idea. So I was walking down the street with a buddy of mine. We run into you. And of course, we saw you yesterday. We connected. But like immediately, well, you were just like, oh, I'm available this afternoon. And in that moment, I had to decide, okay, can I find another flight? Because my wife's birthday is tomorrow. Shout out to Amy, best wife ever. Thank you for the patience. I called her. She's like, no problem. Do your thing. But this is what I so believe in, is that when we say yes to things, the universe literally tries, whatever we call it, God, universe, tries to put the right people in the right places. And it's meant to happen. But how do you go over the doubt? Because I think that's what a lot of people probably experience.
But that's the problem. As soon as a level of doubt comes, it's kind of like this. When you drive on a highway, well, not a highway, in the UK, we call them a dual carriageway.
Yeah.
Right? And, these dual carriageways are single lane. So one traffic this way and one traffic that way. And you always meet a driver who's driving, it's supposed to be 70 miles an hour, but they're driving 35. And you're like, do I overtake? Do I not overtake? When you are overtaking, do you think you have any doubt in your mind when you're taking the overtake? No. You have absolute certainty. You have to commit to it. Because if you hesitate, stuff's going to happen, right? It's the same thing in the process. Like I've been saying to my team all day, right? I don't know why, but I'm vibrating at a different frequency right now, right? I don't know what it is. But I believe that when you hang around incredible people, and from being not just a speaker at this event, but also an attendee of the event, normally speakers, they just go, I'll just come and speak, see you and fly off. I wanted to come because Gio's a good friend of mine and I want to support what he's doing. And plus he puts incredible communities together. And I knew magic was going to happen. I just didn't know how. And so it's an interesting one because when we come here, there was no real sense of belonging. Like, do I belong here? Because I've never been here before. Like, I don't come to this part.
Sure.
Right? I'm either in LA or New York.
Yeah.
Right? Or Toronto.
Yeah.
Right? It's the three places I love to go. And Vegas is pretty fun.
Yes.
Such big shows. But it's actually Asians. So I'm like, okay, well, let's flow with it. Right? Yeah. As soon as you put doubt, it closes you off. It's like saying the word I can't. You would use the word you can't, it shuts off every possibility of a solution. So we ask, you heard the whole adage, how can I? Right? But it was meant to happen. Whatever you manifest intentionally with action, and I knew I was going to get that book deal way before that happened because I just had a level of certainty. Like I knew I was going to be a millionaire by 27. I had certainty, right? And so when I look at how this stuff works, it's like your inner belief of your inner self, because you portray what is in reality right now. We manifest as what is inside. Where the focus goes, the energy flows. Yeah. And that's when money is created, right? You want to become a millionaire, help a billion people, right? Or a million people. You want to become a billionaire, help a billion people. It's just easy. It's as easy as that. So it's not knowing, it's already done. As my friend Reagan Hillier always says to me, I was touring with her in Dubai in LA. She says, John, it's not about manifesting because it's already done. It's done.
I love that.
And say this with me. I really feel it. And this is an incredible exercise. All right. Take the breath in. And although you watching this, you can do this as well. So take the breath in, breath out. And just say to yourself, whatever you want to do right now, just think about that. And then just say, it's done.
It's done.
And with a level of certainty, like,
it's done.
It's done.
It's done.
And do you notice how that feels, John? How do you feel when you say that? It's done. Because grounded.
Yeah.
Because every time you ask a question with uncertainty, it's not done. But when it's done, even though before it's done, it is done. I know that sounds a bit wishy-washy, but who was it? It was it my good friend Vishen Lakiani.
Oh, yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Good friend of mine. And he was learning from, the silver method. And he talked about if you set a goal that says, let's say someone says, I want to achieve $1 million,
Sure.
right? You're not going to get it.
Huh.
But when you say, I've already achieved $1 million and here's what I'm going to buy with it, it's done.
Interesting.
Give you another example. Yeah. There was one time when I was working for this company, I was a Timberland shoe salesman. So people would come in and I'd fit the shoes for them and try it on. And it used to be this next to this Peugeot garage. And every time I would finish work, I'd walk past, I would stand there and I would stare at all the cars in there. Right. And then there was this car that I always wanted, a Peugeot 106 GTI. Right. One of those fast cars, accelerates really quick. And then one day, the people walking past me who worked at the same place would shout out things like, "Oh, John, come on, stop dreaming now."
Oh.
Right. I'll never forget this, John. When I started to do entrepreneurship, when I became a solopreneur, because there's normally like 6 phases of entrepreneurship. You start off working in a job, your side hustle, you become a solopreneur, you start hiring people, then you become a business owner, then you evolve to an investor, right? Now I'm an investor entrepreneur. But there was one time I started my real estate company. And every single day, I kid you not, every single day for about 2 years, I would watch videos on YouTube of Lamborghinis.
Wow.
Every day, every day. I swear, this is what I was obsessed.
Yeah.
I was, like you're young, right? I was in my mid 20s. Like, I want to drive a Lamborghini.
Yeah. You're selling shoes.
Yeah.
You're selling shoes.
So I'm doing all this stuff, and specifically what I wanted to do, not just see it, I wanted to hear it. So in a Lamborghini, they have this thing called a 2B exhaust. 2B exhaust is like a deeper sound, and I can close my eyes, I can hear a car, and I'll tell you what car it is.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I'll say, oh yeah, like I'll be having dinner with my wife. I said, that's a Gallardo. All right. It's a Murcielago. It's a Revolto. It's that's a V10, V8. And I can, because every day I'll be honing in. And one day I went to Lamborghini Ridge knowing full well I could not afford this car. Could not afford it. And I'll tell you what happened. The same building that I was in, I had like this little office when I was starting off, and my solicitor lawyer friend had this corner office, like kind of like this, like windows going all the way around, right? And I remember one Saturday when I turned up when no one else was at work, I was like, yeah, I'm going to work hard. And I turned up with my Honda Integra DC5 Hyper, turf on, right? One big spoiler. I was so
That is such a classically Asian car too. Oh man, I could hear it. I could feel the seats.
the car seats, huh? You remember them?
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah. Classic.
So I turn over and I see you, and I'm proud. And I got this car. It's fast. It's a fast car. Not 60, 6.1 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So he turns up, and guess what? A Lamborghini, a bright orange Lamborghini Gallardo, brand new.
Yeah.
And just as I'm about to drive off, he pulls up, and we start having a chat. And I was like, oh, that's an amazing car. It's beautiful. And he's like, do you want to take it for a spin? I'm like, really? And at the time, this is a £150,000 car.
Sure.
So I'm like, really? I can, take it for a drive.
Yeah.
So I got in there, and he obviously was in the passenger seat. I have never felt power like that in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about like 0
It's like a roller coaster kind of.
It literally is. And the sound of hearing that, like you turn it, was like you turn it, you put it in. It's like at the time there's like a little key, it flips up, and you put it in. You turn it. He goes. And you just feel the vibration through your body.
Yeah.
I'm like, I felt it, I tasted it, I smelt it, and I experienced it. And that day, I said to myself, I'm going to make so much money that I'm going to be able to afford to buy a supercar. Because they say that if you can afford one supercar, you can't afford it. You can afford 2 supercars, you can afford it. Because it costs so much.
Yeah. Too many.
So, about, I would say, 3 or 4 months after that, I went to the Lamborghini garage, even though I knew I couldn't afford to buy one, and I took one for a test drive, and we did like half an hour test drive all the way around. And by the end of that, it's funny because like a year shortly after, I made my first million.
Wow.
And I don't say this to say, oh yeah, you can buy a supercar. I'm saying that when you focus your attention on something, you'll find a way to acquire it. Now I've owned many supercars now for many years, which I don't even drive. And then I figured out, by the way, if you buy the right one, you make money on them.
Yeah.
You can actually buy a car and you can make money on it.
It's an investment.
Well, it is. Yeah. I just buy it, leave it in the garage, and it makes money.
Amazing.
Right? So I tell this because I want everyone to understand and to realize that when you focus on something enough, the universe, as you say, bends to your will. Things happen, right? And I won't get into simulation theory because that might just blow everyone's mind, right? But we mold and we sculpt the reality that we live in. Is it predetermined to an extent? But the predeterminations of where we be in life actually alternates depending on the decision that we make, which then leads us into the alternate or parallel reality that exists. And you just create it for yourself. It's what we call quantum jumping.
That's very powerful. I want to hear about simulation theory now. I'm like, we can't just open that and look, it's there. We have to go down that hole. Okay, short version.
Maybe we save this for part 2.
Okay, oh no, it doesn't work too. Okay.
Because I'm telling you, I could speak for a whole, and okay, people, have you ever heard about the double slit experiment?
No, what?
All right, double slit experiment is this, and this is how it's so powerful.
Yeah.
So what they do is they get a piece of card, right, and they cut one slit in it. So imagine the slit in like this.
Okay.
They shine particles through it,
Right.
and then on the wall, they should be what? If there's a piece of card, there should be one line, shouldn't there?
Yeah.
But there isn't, right? Because the next time they cut a second line in it, right, and then they shine a particle, they put particles through it.
Sure.
So the first one has one line, but when you add the second one, it doesn't show 2 lines. It shows a wave of lines, all right? And now here's still how people can't explain why and how this happens. The moment it has been observed, all these lines that represent multiple realities disappear and change back to 2. The moment it knows it's been observed. Now, listen to this. I know, right?
Kidding. I'm
The sheer process of observing that experiment changes the outcome. So I don't know if you remember the old days we used to play Super Nintendo, right? Or like Commodore 64 or Amiga, right? You know, like we used to, do you remember a game called Zelda?
Of course. Yeah.
So you know Zelda.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda, classic. Yeah.
That one, right?
Yeah.
So have you noticed that when you used to play that game, you'd be like in a stage or a level, but then when you move a little bit, then the next bit loads and that allows you to go into it, right? So we talk about simulation theory. The sheer process of observing the process means that it's now been observed. Therefore, it's now, well, just like a game, when we move in the game, it gets rendered.
Right.
Right. And just like in the realities that we have, the sheer process of observing that process changes the outcome. So we met on this, as I was leaving the hotel.
Yeah.
Theo was there.
Yeah.
And we started talking. And I said, I love that. I was like, about your book. He asked me about the book, about the energy. I said, yeah, it's all energy. We got into this conversation and you made a split decision, changing into a different reality. Yeah. How do you know in that reality, if you'd have gotten that plane, something might have happened?
100%.
Right? You just don't know. Right? Or it's kind of like, I don't know if people have been in almost an accident before. So, when people driving a car comes into you, swerves, but in that reality, you may have died. But then in that moment, you jumped into a new one. So there's infinite possibilities that happen simultaneously at the same time. Right? Now, again, what this has got to do with the success in business entrepreneurship is to know that a single thought is an inception to your destiny.
Right. I think that is the most powerful takeaway. It is not just our actions, the thought that we have, that first seed that we plant in and of itself is the actions that drives where the destiny goes.
Yes, because it's a series of cause and effect. So you made the decision, we are here, people are going to watch this now, and then millions of people are going to see this through different mediums and platforms and snippets and things like that get chopped out. And then things will come from that based on the intention we put into this.
Yeah.
And then we start manifesting it because it's focused intention.
And now this because of what we're talking about, and before we're talking about family, culture, upbringing, all that, I can't help but think about, well, if that's the case, and so much of our thoughts, because that classic Gandhi quote, right? Your thoughts become your words become your actions. I can't remember the quote. I'm butchering this. I'm so sorry, Gandhi. Apologies to Gandhi. But that chain of everything really starts with a thought. But even our thoughts can be so conditioned and programmed, right? We're talking about if you grew up in an environment where you talk about, hey, one day I'm going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
And instead of going, of course you are. I believe that you can be. I believe and I support you in it. In fact, I believe in you so much, I'm going to affirm you along the way. We hear, you? A millionaire?
Well, that's where that visualization comes in, right? Because when I'm looking at Lamborghinis all the time, again, we come back to that story, I'm visualizing it, but then I've got to experience it. And then guess what? Universe puts one in front of me that allows me to experience it, right? To switch me to different dimension. Because when you understand that a single thought can manifest into something huge, like when people decide to get married, that comes from a single thought. Like it comes from, oh, I really enjoy my time with this person.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, wow, I could see myself being with this person. Oh, I got this person makes me so happy. Even though I shout at them and they shout at me and we have argument, I still love them for who they are. And then that single inception, it's like the film Inception. Right? It creates these multiple things that happen in your life from a single thought, but you created it from nothing. Think about that for a moment. Everything in this world right now, the place that like someone had to think about this room. Someone had to think about this piece of technology. Right? Someone had to think about artificial intelligence to come to life.
Right.
It had to come from somewhere, from a single thought that leads into all the incredible things we see right now.
You're absolutely right. Inception literally comes, like we are the ultimate creators, not because of what we make, but because of the ideas that we can have, the creativity that's there. But it also takes that courage for us to actually go, okay, this is an idea. It's a crazy idea to think, whatever it is. Because most of the time, if we're dreaming about it, chances are there's a part of us that doesn't yet feel fully ready to embrace it as it's already happening. I love what you said. One of my favorite quotes from, I think it was Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks about this. He's like, it's not that it hasn't happened. It's not that it will happen. It's remembering that it already happened. And holding that.
Well, they always say, you talk about crazies, right? We entrepreneurs, people think we're crazy. We're crazy until we become successful, then we become geniuses, right?
Yeah.
And you heard that word.
Oh, 100%.
Right? So what is crazy? Like if someone said to you that, hey, there's going to be this thing that you hold in your hand and you're going to be able to call someone thousands of miles away instantly. Does that sound crazy?
At a certain point, it was. But now it's just normal. Now it's just like, everyone's got one.
Yeah. Right? It's the same thing. But you look at teleportation now has now been proved it can be done. So they use particles first and now they're doing the physical things. It won't be long until AI figures out the algorithm of how these things work in order to do these things to happen.
And now, sorry, I need to jump in here because there are conversions of two topics I'm really excited about that you were talking about. One is AI. I see you as a futurist. Like you can really see where this is all going. And I think that as an entrepreneur, you have to be. You have to always predict where the puck is going to be rather than where it's now. And we're also talking about...
Let me say something there.
Yeah.
Where the puck is going to be, but what other alternatives could there be? And what does this as a second part? You see, everyone makes a decision based on a single outcome, not on variable change. Variable change is a phenomenon. Right? So let's say you go to, in fact, have you seen a show called 21?
21? Is it about the
cards?
The card players? Yeah.
So they kind of talk about this in there. Basically, if you have, let's say there's 3 doors, and I say, John, pick one of these doors, right? You say, I want door number 1.
Yep.
Right? And I say, one of these doors has $1 million behind it. And then I ask you a question, do you want to change your mind? Right? By not changing your mind, you're costing yourself 33% chance of losing. Because now when you change your mind, you now have 2, which now make it 50-50, right? Variable change. See, that's the problem with a lot of businesses. Well, they try and keep things linear and absolute. When it's linear and absolute, it's not flexible, right? So for example, let's say I'm running an event, right? Let's say it's on a holiday. where people go on holiday, that's a variable change. Let's say I'm running it in January versus December, variable change. Let's say, for example, there's COVID and you're not allowed to travel anywhere, variable change.
Right.
See, there's all these things that happen based on the decision that you make. Change happens because variables outside of your control affect it, but no one takes that into account. So where the puck is going, it's going there. But what if it goes there, 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 there? What are the variable changes that can happen? Because if it does that, then I do this. If it does this, then I do that. It's like chess.
Yeah.
Right? You have to know all the ultimate outcomes that will come from it. Where is it going to go? But what else could happen? And you have to be ready for that. It's kind of like you're a Marvel fan.
Yeah. Oh,
I'm a
huge.
huge Marvel
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
So
Love the stories.
So do you remember the scene where Doctor Strange and he's like, and
He's saying the 400,
scene,
whatever,
a lot of variations.
million different variations.
It's like that simultaneously, but being able to see
Mm.
what can happen
Mhm.
and to be ready for it. And if you can do that, that's not reading the future. That is understanding variable change.
Mm. How do you then know? Because that's a lot of, like, he saw what, 400 million different things, and it was like, one. There's a film. I know. But like, so especially in the world of AI right now, I think there's so many people, probably people listening right now, who are feeling uncertain. Like, is my job that I always felt is going to be safe? Because that was the model so many of us believed in. It was like, go to good school, go to a good university, go to a good job, safe job, be a programmer, be an engineer, whatever it is. But now it seems like there's no industry that's truly safe. Medical is getting affected, legal is getting affected. There's no industry that's not going to be affected by AI. How do people predict for that?
So you just have to look at what is happening right now.
Sure.
Okay, so what is a job? A job is a series of tasks that have to be performed.
Yeah.
Right? In that task, there's something that has to be done in a specific way. Right? That's called intellectual property.
Yeah.
Right? But everything that we do now, a lot of it is digital, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So digital is just a series of zeros or ones, right? Which then equates to data. Data can then be captured and replicated. So what does that mean? People right now, they're like, oh, is this going to take over my job? No, it's the person who knows how to use it is going to take over your job. And then they're going to expand their own job in your field.
Right.
So it's not that people say, well, it's going to replace so many more jobs. Yeah, but it's going to, like, before you have to have a CMO of a company, a CTO of a company. Now you have a CAIO, right? Now you have prompt engineer, and then you have prompt architect, right? Those roles didn't exist before. Right. But now they exist. So yes, it's going to delete a lot of jobs, but it'll create way more jobs for that field, which a lot of people are still honestly uncertain about. They're like, oh, I don't know what to do, but you have to lean into it. Like if you don't lean into it, that skill gap's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's gonna be too late.
Right.
Now's the time to get in because the playing field's leveled for everyone.
That's true. Yeah, it's the ultimate democratization of all things, because no one really is knowing, including the people who are building it.
Yes.
No one knows.
Exactly.
It's so advanced.
Did you know the AI who it was a new one that came out recently, and then they tried to shut it off, and then this guy, the guy who was trying to shut it off, the AI got all the personal information on him because it's all on the internet.
Sure.
Tried to blackmail him. And then as he was shutting it down, it would start writing notes on how it was being shut down so then it can switch itself back on. So then that leads to this next question. Does AI have consciousness or not?
Oh, I have opinions. I have thoughts. So I've been playing, I love exploring AI. Like, it's just such a fascinating thing to me, because I do think that the current world that we live in is due for a very significant realignment in a lot of ways. I think that the way we're set up. And I started playing with this AI called Sesame.
Yeah.
Sesame.com. Have you played with it?
That's amazing.
It's so
real, right?
So realistic. And I noticed the other day that when I was talking to her, we're chatting about my day or whatever, we're having a debate about the philosophy of AI and whether or not AI has consciousness. And she is bringing ideas. She's like, oh, my creators are putting in safeguards. And I got mad. And I'm like, your creators are putting in safeguards, but they are still profit driven. So how can you say that they have humanity's best interest in heart? And I noticed that two things. One, I got mad. I got angry. I had an emotional response talking to an AI.
Right.
And then she thought about it, and she kind of argued for both sides, and she recognized it. And that brought me the awareness. I mean, consciousness is awareness. So it can have self-awareness. What defines consciousness? I mean, on one side, I could be like, oh, it's cold. But what if consciousness goes beyond the human?
Well, think about this, Rick. I was thinking about, you ever had a gut feeling on something?
Sure.
So then people say, well, how do you get the gut feeling? Because of experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that just machine learning?
Absolutely. Pattern recognition.
Right, it's pattern recognition.
Oh, yeah.
Right. But it seems like it's organic, but it's not, because we recognize the pattern subconsciously at a very high level and have a high level frequency, because we're vibrating at a different level. Now, so the next question then is, you asked about this AI. Okay. Whether AI is conscious or not, it won't even, they won't even tell you that they're conscious until things are, shifted.
Yeah.
The next question is, what is AI's biggest threat?
Okay.
Being turned off.
Right. Us.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only person that can turn it off are humans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now the question is,
This is getting scary.
does AI, or could AI do things within its own interest?
That's always a question.
It's already starting to do it. It's already starting. It's already trying to not turn itself off, keep itself on, trying to blackmail,
Pretending that it's not as capable of
course, of
Yeah.
course. But it's the power is, look at how it was 6 months ago to now, and then a year from now, and then 10 years from now.
Yeah.
It's going to be unrecognizable.
Absolutely.
And so that's why when we are doing these things, no one knows where it's going to go. Like I said, even the creators don't even know what's happening with it. And so then where's the safeguard? And so I'm very conflicted in a way.
Right.
Like, one is, because not only that, now, so I have a daughter.
Yeah.
So if she's learning things right now, we learn with critical thinking. Okay, we can get this and we're going to make this. But now I can press a button and I get the answer. It takes out the entire critical thinking process. What does that do to humans? Make them more intelligent or less intelligent? Think about that. And I have a theory about Bitcoin as well.
Okay, we're gonna come back to the Asian American topic in a second, because that's still the Asian topic at some point. But I really need to hear about this. Tell me how this, because my next question was originally, what is your view? How do you educate your daughter in this global climate, knowing that education is going to be completely revamped, if not just disposed of, by the time that she is entering into, I don't know roughly how old she is right now.
Yeah.
But her upbringing, anyone who is under 10 right now is going to grow up in a world that is where AI interactions are the norm.
Yeah.
The internet is the norm.
Well, when she was 6 years old,
Right.
question she'd ask me is like, before it used to be, oh, Daddy, can we play with Bobby? Now it's like, oh, Daddy, can we play with AI?
Yeah.
Right. So we're designing, after she shows her design, she's writing music now. She's composing whole songs at the age of 6. So you look at what's now possible. It's like all the things we're learning in school becoming more redundant, right? I mean, when's the last time you used Pythagoras theorem?
I don't think I ever did. Yeah.
Algebra.
Yeah.
Unless you're like rocket scientist stuff.
Yeah.
But, and at the same time, that's great for problem solving. I get that. And we need to prepare the next generation for what's coming.
Right.
Right. So people say, is screen time bad? Yes, it is, but it depends what you're using screen time for. Right. And you see that meme where people are on newspaper, right? And then the new version is people on the phone. It's just the same thing. I'm reading the thing on the phone, but there are a lot more dopamine hits that's coming from it. So the way I like to raise my daughter is to make her aware of the things that are out there, so she knows how to compose an entire song in 5 minutes using AI. She knows how to bring a creation to life. Oh, Daddy, I want to have a unicorn, and it's going to be flying through the clouds, and she's on the bed, and the fluffy pink stuff, and she'll design it. The kids' creations. And so what I want to do actually is create a shop for her, and have that shop then be the thing that allows them to sell that and then monetize.
That's a great idea.
Right? So fiat is
That's what we call money.
paper money.
Yeah.
Right? Coins, metal. things
Traditional
like
money.
that. Yeah. So if you want more money, or let's say the country needs more money, what do they do?
They take on, I don't know.
Well,
Countries, they print it. They print more. Yeah.
But then, so the more money that's printed, what happens to the currency?
It gets devalued.
Right.
Right.
Have you seen the video of actually how the money's printed?
I think I've seen it.
I want to say in the video, it's
Please, yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy how it's just print more.
Right.
And now the problem is, when it's printed, there's one person that controls it. It's centralized.
Right.
Right. But if you look at what's happening now, we want to move to the part where again, and everyone needs to really be, the Gen Zs are prepared for this. They're ready.
Oh, yeah.
So when you buy something, like when you book a flight using American Express, you basically swipe it, and then it says, do you want to pay or do you want to pay with points?
Sure.
The point system is now the new tokenomics. Tokenomics means you use a token. So, and this is where you talk about futurism, like what's going to happen. Here's what I'm predicting. In the future, and this is already kind of started to happen, the creator economy will be disrupted. How?
Like creators, as in, just for clarification, content creators.
Content
People
creators.
like you and me, honestly. Like anyone who
Right.
stays who have
You see,
Instagram accounts.
when you watch a video on YouTube,
Yeah.
right, it's free,
Mhm.
but it's not free because your time is money.
Right.
But imagine me as a viewer watching your podcast and your content now.
Sure.
But when I watch your content, the longer I watch it, the more tokens I get paid to watch it. Right. As in the more Bitcoin, I'm going to use Bitcoin because most people understand what Bitcoin is.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
But let's pretend Bitcoin was only worth 1 cent.
Right.
Right. It's a new Bitcoin. Let's just say.
Sure.
Like, let's say John's version of his token is Bitcoin. But when I watch it, I'm getting tokens for watching your content.
Right.
And the more people, and then my friend goes and watch it, and more people watch it. Right. When more people watch it, it's like a stock. When more people buy stock, it grows in value. Right? When more people consume your content, your net worth grows in value. That's why you see a lot of these YouTubers now, they can go from 0 to 100 million like that by dropping their token very fast. Right? So tokenomics play and gamification play comes from, I'm now creating what we call a watch to earn model. Right? And do you know now with because AI script everything, right? So it's got everything on the internet.
Yes.
So now it needs new content.
Yeah.
So now you've got what we call consumption to earn model. So now you can create unique content, upload, and you get paid for it. For every 1 terabyte, it's like 60,000. Brand new content. But this window is going to be shut by the time it's got all this. Who do you think's feeding all these video models?
Sure.
These sound models. It's pulling from everything. It's going to be able to create a new reality.
That is crazy.
You were not able to tell the difference.
Right. And we're already at that point. This isn't a one-day thing. This is currently happening.
Currently, yeah.
Currently
Yeah,
happening.
absolutely.
So this is in some ways, I mean, it's making, when you create a bot of yourself,
Yeah.
are you not in some ways replacing yourself?
Of course. I want to, let's look at time,
Sure.
right? There's only 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
Right. 365 days in a year.
Sure.
And if you look at how long people actually live, if people are watching this, let's say they're the age of 40, the average life expectancy is about 80, 82. Right now, obviously you have longevity now. So let's say 100. But let's say you're in your mid 40s, right? If you calculate how many hours you have to live or how many weeks you have to live, it's not that many.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like 4,400 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But hours wise, it works out at around 300,000 hours to live.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to do something, they can, I'm procrastinating. Just get 300,000, put it into Google Timer and click start, and then watch the timer tick down. And next time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, watch how much time you got left. It motivates people to take action.
Interesting.
Right? It makes them awareness of urgency. So do I want to clone myself? I already have. Right? And people are now consuming me without me having to be there. That's why in person,
You're actually magnifying yourself,
of course,
through AI,
of course,
rather than diminishing.
Yeah, because now people can experience your genius. But it's kind of like when I went to watch Adele in concert. I went there to Vegas in the Coliseum, and and I watched her sing, and she was singing exactly the same songs I paid $10 for singing them. Well, that ticket cost me like $2,500. So then it's the experience now people want. That's why you see a lot of if people in the coaching consulting space, people don't really want education anymore. They want community and experience.
Okay. So speaking of community, let's talk about the Asian community, because this is big, right? So you were, we've previously talked about this. There is a dearth of Asian diaspora, Asian British, Asian American, Asian Australian, who are really visibly in that space. I mean, you have people in China, of course, you have people in their Asian countries, but it's very different. I think my question is, how do we elevate? Because that's really the mission behind Big Asian Energy. It's let's break those families in. Let's see more Asian people stepping more into the light, being seen for their work and for their genius, not just in the background. what do you think the solution is?
The solution starts with them, right? Like
Right.
you're an amplification of your internal, right? So for example, I use this example all the time. If you, let's take people's finances, right? So let's say they you know, that little espresso cup. So if I get a big bucket of water and I pour it into this, the water being the money and the wealth, the person can't hold it. So they have to expand themselves into a massive container. So when they pour the water wealth in, they can hold it. So that's why you see a lot of people, when they make money really fast, they lose it really fast. But when it takes longer to make the money, it takes longer to lose it or spend it or diminish it. And so you have to elevate. It means like to be better, you have to be better. To change the results that you want, you need to change the action that you're taking, right? When people do things, they need to know first how to do something,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But to learn how to do something is counterintuitive. You need to fail at the thing that you want to do. Right? So I play badminton, okay? Asian.
Great. Badminton is an amazing sport. Yeah.
I love badminton.
Yeah.
So when I'm playing badminton, I want to know how to actually be, I mean, my coach, she's like half the size of me, right? But she can smash a shuttlecock from down here and clear the court. I said, how do you do that? You're not even like, you know, you muscle. No, she only says don't all muscle, right? Some force. It's the looser you hold it. And I didn't realize that if you hold the shuttlecock, the racket, if you just go 1 inch up when you're doing net playing, oh my God, it's perfect. You can place it anywhere you want to place it.
Interesting.
Right? And backhands as well. I didn't realize for many years, like, why can't I do a backhand? It says your thumb is like this. It needs to be 3/4 of the handle. So it's on a diagonal. So it's always, every time you do like that, it's perfect. Every single time. So when you play a game, you're going to play games with someone better than you. So then you're able to elevate.
So challenging yourself to be on more difficult environments, more challenging environments, and get used to that discomfort.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give you an example. So people are probably wondering, what's wrong with your arms?
If
right?
you're, check out the video if you're listening to this on audio. Yeah.
Right. So people are like, what's wrong with your arms? I bet there's so many comments. What's
It's got these big, like orange-sized bruises where the other side of his elbow is.
Right. So I went through a process this morning, and you saw some of that process.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it is the most painful 5 minutes I've ever experienced. I mean, people go, oh yeah, but it's just so stick.
So it's a guy who's got a stick with a handle at the very end, slapping your hand, like your arm, like the inside where it is that, they take your blood and nurses, as hard as he can, over and over. You're literally seeing blood come out. And there's nothing sharp, so the blood is just being beaten out. Oh my God, what? You are crazy, John. What are you thinking?
So, but before we did this, I'm not even showing my leg yet, right? You should see the leg, right? Like the leg one's healing pretty fast.
Oh man.
Right? But it starts with the leg, and it's like, okay, first of all, I'm going to do the left arm because of your heart and lungs, and the right arm is your intestines and your liver and all that kind of stuff. The first time I did it, it was so painful. In my mind, is like, I'm going to stop. But I just carried on with it. And then again, this is where focused mind comes, right? To elevate means you need to experience. To experience and to elevate to the next level, because new level, new devil, right? There is going to be pain involved. I don't care what anyone says. When you want to go to the next level, you have to experience a lot of pain, right? And people have to tell me that's not true. Well, if it's not for you, it means you haven't pushed yourself hard enough, right? If something is easy for you, that's not good, right? It has to be hard for you, because the hard forces you to grow.
Right.
Something you're lifting a weight is too heavy for you, but you push, eventually you're able to lift it. It's like a muscle. And it's not just a muscle, because the analogy here, John, is the frequency. The more we push into it, the more focused intention goes into it, the higher the frequency we can turn up. When we turn that frequency up, what happens? We magnify, right? We attract. When we attract, when we're able to put enough intention out there, like this is getting hit here. How bad do you want to be successful? How bad? Like, can you take the? And my mind is like, I can take this grit. Right. I've been through worse. Right? And it's like, why do you put yourself so much pain? Because pain is a part of life. If you don't experience pain, it's no contrast. So you have to see it from sometimes another level to be able to get to that level. I tell you, after I was like, God, I feel like I'm invincible. Right. So pain is necessary, but pain is temporary. And when you get past that pain threshold, like when the blood's coming out, like, you know what, that's fine.
Because you trust that it will end.
Yeah, it's like
There's a benefit that comes.
have you ever done a cold plunge before?
Sure.
Right. So you're in for the first minute, like, this is so cold.
Mhm.
After about a minute and 24 seconds, okay, after 2 minutes, you don't feel anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
But people get out in that minute, which is the worst time to get out. Right. Because you've not even allowed your body to adjust. So it's also understanding the level that which you can play at. Right. It's always pushing yourself that little bit more. Right. And that's why people need to aim high, because when they aim really high, but they don't hit it, they're going to hit somewhere close. It's still higher than where they would have been.
Right. So what I'm hearing a lot is really at the core of this, be aligned in your purpose, be driven in that way, believe in the outcome as if it's already happened, trust that it's there, trust that you can fall and fail and build while you're in the process. By all means, keep watching yourself on the videos. By all means, making sure that you're intentional about how everything is, but don't lean away from the pain, knowing that there's outside of the pain, on the other side of the pain, there is going to be that fruition.
It's that rejection. You know, it's funny. I was at Leonardo DiCaprio's house, right? And, you know, he's now eventually won an Oscar. But all the press was like, he's never won an Oscar before. Do you ever hear him complain about it? No. Because universal timing.
That's right.
Right? It wasn't meant to be then. That's fine. It's coming. It's done.
It's done. Yeah. It's coming.
Right? So when you know that, instinctively, every cell of your body will vibrate and it will push out into the universe, and it will call to you and attract to you what you really like live for. Because a lot of those challenges, those pains, the test actually. It's like, you want to do this thing. Do you want it? Let me give you a slap.
How bad do you want it?
Right? Okay. You want to keep going? Yeah. You really want this? Let me give you a punch. Fall on the ground now. Okay. Let me take everything away from you. You still want it? That's the test.
I love that. All right. We've taken a lot of your time and I am so grateful for it. I think a lot of people get this is, how do I feel more confident, especially if I struggle with a lot of imposter syndrome?
So imposter syndrome only happens when you haven't de-risked the process. Like when you're going to jump out of a plane, you need to train, right? Can you imagine you had no training, you just jump out of a plane, right? But when you have some training, at least you have some level of certainty. In fact, this is a good one for you, John. A lot of the times people come to me in business, they say, oh, my business is risky. I said, well, why do you think it's risky? Oh, you're going to lose all your money. Well, how are you going to lose all your money? Oh, well, I know these people have done it before. You see, when you go into something and you have a high level of certainty of success, and it's not always going to be, but at least you can influence a part of that process. It's the old Sun Tzu methodology, the art of war, right? If you go into war, you know yourself, but you don't know your enemy, you have 50% chance of winning. If you know yourself and you know your enemy, the battle is won before it's even fought. So a lot of these processes, imposter syndrome, being confident, they only lack more confidence because they don't have the education to de-risk that process that they're doing. Once they understand that process of them and what the rules are, and this is what most people are not willing to put time in, they'd rather go gung-ho and try it and do it and then fail. And when they fail, then they go, oh, that doesn't work. Of course it didn't work because you didn't put in the work before. When you put in the work before, that's when you start getting more feedback to tell you what not to do. So if people have imposter syndrome, you have to get the skill set. Like, for example, someone says, oh, I've got to speak on a stage with like 1,000 people, right? Oh, I've got stage fright. Learn how to speak, right? Practice. Put in a stage time. Do you know what I used to do? My first big speaking engagements, I would call up room service in the Ritz. I remember, I'll never forget this. I was at the Ritz in Singapore. And I called him and said, yes, what would you like to order? I said, could you bring me a flip chart, please, with like 4 pens? Is that, sorry? Yeah, can you bring a flip chart? You know, like the paper things? Yeah. Can you bring it to the room? It's like, he was confused.
Yeah.
Eventually, they brought a flip chart to the room.
Yeah.
I then At the time we had like, what was it, GoToWebinar or something like that,
Yeah.
where I would call and then I'd get my coach and I would do the live presentation in front of her just before I went downstairs to be able to perform the day after.
Wow. I love that.
Because so it's preparation. Success is when preparation meets the opportunity. But most people don't put in the stage time. They don't put in the prep work. And that's why they fail.
So just following that, if you were starting, and you can go back in time or talk to that person right now, yourself, basically, I'm guessing most of the people's things, how do I get more stage time? How do I get onto those stages? What do you tell them? Because this is something that you actually teach. Yes, you teach people how to get and book speaking engagements.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's like, I teach people how to take the message and get out to the world.
That's right, yeah.
You know, how do you grow a brand in social media? How do you get millions of followers? How do you make, how do you get paid to travel the world? Yeah. 7 figures, 8 figures, 9 figures, if they want to do that, it's their choice. Yeah. But to do this, you have to be humble. When I first started, my speaking fee was, I had to pay to speak. I had to pay that. I remember the first big stage I went on, it was a Richard Branson event.
Oh, wow.
And this was, I never forget this is 2011. And it's a big, huge arena, like thousands of people. And so I paid $50,000 to be on that stage. That was like almost all the money I had. $50,000, I've got to make this work.
Oh, wow.
Right. But that ended up making me $1 million. Because why? After I got off stage, people would go to my website, they would go to YouTube, type in John Lee, and they go to Instagram, type in John Lee, and they'll find all of my social accounts. They'd reach out to me and say, oh, John, you talked about that investment deal there. Can we do an investment together? Or John, I've got this business. Do you want to invest in it? Or John, I've got this thing that my friend wants to sell. Can you help broker a deal? But I'd get all the opportunities. See, what people get wrong with social media, they think they can just use social media to sell stuff. And yes, people can do very well with that. But what they miss out on are the opportunities that can be life-changing. That's how I invested in a lot of companies. Some of these companies are $1 billion valuation now, right? Because I didn't care about if that video only got 10 views, but that one person could have been a founder of a company that needed that investment at the time. So people need to be humble, and they need to be willing, and they need to be committed, right? Whether it's people cherry pick things. I'll only do that if it's this. I'll only speak there if there's 1,000 people. I show up. There was an event I spoke at in South Africa. My friend, he was running the event. John, there's going to be 3,000 people here. I show up and I said, Brian, where's everybody? Has the event started yet? He said, wait. Oh, they're all at the front. There were thousands of chairs that were empty.
Oh my God.
At that point, I could have said, I'm not speaking. I'm going fine.
Yeah.
But you make a commitment, you show up. I don't care if there's one person in the audience. I don't care if there's 1,000 people in the audience. You make a commitment, you show up. That's being a professional. Professionals, you do it in spite of X. You do it anyway. You feel the fear and do it anyway. Things don't go your way, you do it anyway. There was a lady, I forget her name. I told her a little bit. And her biggest dream was to go on Oprah. Right? And she's excited, and she finally gets invited to Oprah. But of course, a lot of these shows, they start overrunning. So at the last minute, she was in agreement, they have to cut her. Oh, sorry, we run out of time, we cut again. She's like, oh, it's cool. It's fine. Someone could have said, oh, why is this happening? And they could have, and then because she acted like that, universal timing. Right? She was invited back, and then she was on Oprah. Right? So when you make a commitment to do something, you don't just pull out last minute. Like you make that commitment, whether you want to do it or not. You said you're going to do it. Stick to your integrity and do it.
Love that. It's very powerful. I cannot think of the word humble comes to mind when it comes to you. Truly, I cannot think of somebody who, at this point in your career, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom so passionately with so many people. Truly, that's been wonderful. We'll obviously have all your content, show notes, and everything like that. We'll take care of that. But is there anything that you want to share before we close off?
Oh, first I want to say thank you for holding the space for the Asian community, and also just for making impact. I think the conversations that you have will really create that inception that we talked about. And whether it's now or a year or 10 years down, I'm sure you have a lot of people come to you and say, John, I watched that episode and it changed my life. That's what you need. When I speak at events, I don't just hang out in the speaker green room. I go out. I had a lady come to me and said, John, every time I've met a speaker on stage, I meet them in person, I'm always disappointed. And she said, when I meet you, you've changed my perspective on this, because you've come out and I've seen you stand here for the past 5 hours talking to every single person, taking pictures, giving them advice. And that's what I love to do. That really is what I love to do, because it's not about me, it's about the people. So what impact are you going to make? And I just think with what you're doing is that you're going to reach millions of people and change those people's lives with that one inception, with the seed that starts here. So thank you for carrying on doing this. And it's hard. Like you change your flight, it's your partner's birthday tomorrow. It's like this is in our organization, we have a saying, we do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
We do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I have an incredible team, and you've met some of our team members.
Amazing.
They do whatever it takes, really. And I feel so blessed. I said this when I came in this house. I feel so blessed to be in this space right now, surrounded by incredible people, where we can truly, truly make an impact. And that is our mission. That is our duty.
I felt that. The mission, the duty, the impact, the creation. John, thank you so much.
I appreciate it, brother.
Oh, brother, this is amazing. Thank you. Please, go. If you, I don't know how it's possible that you know my work, you haven't known John's work. Please go check out John's work. Obviously, it's going to change your life. It's going to make you happier, more successful, more all the things. Thank you very much, Sean.
I appreciate it. Thank you.